All right, so hey folks, I wanted to start a new series called Faith, Family, and Fishing. And my initial guest is somebody who exemplifies faith. He's just one of my heroes as far as the world of faith goes. And he's a fisherman and he's a loving family man. But he also has another F about football. So if you were a Buffalo Bills fan back in the 90s, number 82, Mr. Beebe. And then after he left there, he went to Carolina for a little while and he won a Super Bowl with Green Bay. Yay! So the guest today is none other than Don Beebe, number 82, whether it was for the Bills or for Green Bay. Don, welcome, brother.
Yeah, it's good to be with you. It's funny you say all those things, but I live by the four F's. Number one, hands down, faith. Number two, family, friends.
Yep.
Number three, fishing. And number four, football.
Football.
So fishing is very important to us in the Beebe family.
It is. And you know what, Don? It's if you get those out of order, life just doesn't go so well. It's just one of those things of you got to put it in perspective and you got to put Christ first. And you've written books. I remember you gave me your book, More Than a Ring. I remember that a long time ago, and how important that was. And a lot's going on in your life. Maybe we can get a little testimony too about what's going on. But first of all, your faith, it's paramount. It was when you were with the Bills. It was when you were with the with Green Bay, and probably even more so when you were with Carolina, because it was quite a challenge for you there too, wasn't it?
It was, and which that kind of segues right into other things that I've been doing lately. Jim, is I've written actually two more books within the last year, and they're both devotional books. And it's funny you bring up the Carolina story because the Carolina story is one of the devotionals that I write about, because in my 40 some years of playing sports and coaching sports, that year was the toughest year athletically that I had to endure. Learned a lot of lessons. But one thing that I've learned over my life, Jim, is that when you go through trials and tribulations, oh, and by the way, everybody's going to.
Yep.
God never promises that you won't go through tough times. He just says he will help you get through it if you allow him to help you get through it. So that's what I've tried to do in my life as much as possible. When I face a trial, and I'm going through one right now, to be honest with you, Jim, maybe the toughest one from just my, not spiritually, but just character, but being attacked. Listen, if you're really speaking the gospel and telling people about Jesus, Satan hates it, man.
Oh,
He
yeah.
hates it, and he's going to attack you. And that's the one thing I've learned over my life is I've learned to know when Satan really starts to attack, because then you really have to put on the full armor of God. You really do.
He prevents Zoom calls from working out the right way too.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, he does. But the funny thing is he never can win as long as you allow God to fight your battles. As it talks about in Romans 12:14 through 21. These battles are his, man. Vengeance is his. You don't have to, you're called to just love them and be peaceful with people. Stand for righteousness, sure. But do it in a Christ-like way. That's the hard part.
Yeah, sure.
But when you do that, man, it's amazing how God works. It really is. And the Carolina story, as you said, goes back to one of those things that happened to me a long time ago in the athletic world.
So as you're, moving through life, God has always been there with you, with your family. You got a great family. How many kids now?
I have 4 kids and 5 grandkids.
Nice. That's good. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's amazing. I still reflect back to when you were still playing with the Bills and you were in Orchard Park and your son was like 2 years old running around running in front of the refrigerator and stuff. And now he's going to be you in a movie. I think
Yeah.
that's pretty amazing too. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the book that you mentioned earlier, Six Rings from Nowhere, is about my life story, and this is the third group that have tried to take this book and story and turned it into a movie. The first two didn't pan out for whatever reason. That's God's control, not mine. But this one has, and this one is a go. We've already filmed our first scene. They're building the sets right now. They're finishing off casting for the movie, so it's going to be done. It's going already. So, and yes, my son is going to play me. And right now, not many people know this either, but Jim, my son's wife, Mackenzie, is going to be playing Diana, my wife, which has never been done in movie history. I think it's been done 3 times, I believe. Somebody told me that a son played the father in a movie, but nobody's ever had the son and his wife play, the father and the mother in the movie. So it's just really cool to experience this, and it's going to be really cool, Jim, to sit on the set and watch my son out there acting.
I know.
And hey, look, I only agreed to do this. I don't personally. I don't want a movie done on my life. I'm a quiet guy. I love being in a boat in the middle of nowhere fishing
Yep.
with just friends and family. So to be a movie type person, that's just not my personality. But that's how God works. God chose Moses, and he chose so many people in the Bible that were obscure, common people, not worthy
Yep.
in their minds, especially. And so, but I'm all for spreading the gospel. And if that's what this movie does in the book and all that thing spreads the gospel of Jesus Christ, I'm all in with both feet. So, and that's where we are.
It was just a blessing to have you as a friend when you were back here, because not only were you on the TV show several times, we went fishing together,
Yeah,
and I really enjoyed that. And back when you were here, didn't you have a Ranger when you were here?
I did.
You
I
did.
did. Yeah. So go ahead.
And now when I called you the other day, you said I can't do the Zoom call today because your technology probably won't work, Jim. But also you're out buying a new boat.
Yes.
What'd you get?
Yeah. So going back to the Ranger, the first thing I bought with the first signing bonus in 1989 of the Buffalo Bills, I bought a Ranger bass boat. I
Uh,
mean, I had my priorities straight, let me tell you.
yeah, you did.
So before I bought a car, before I bought a house or anything, I went and bought a boat. So, and now I owned a Lund, which was I got a 14-foot Lund, which I love back troll. I'm a big back troller for walleyes.
Yeah.
And now I just went out and and got a tracker. Now, the reason I got a tracker is because my grandkids like to run around the boat. Now it gives me a lot more room to do that.
Yeah, that's great. So what is your favorite fish to catch? You and I went bass fishing, and then after you won the Super Bowl with Green Bay, we met up in Lake Michigan and we went out salmon fishing. I don't know if we caught a salmon, but we caught some lake trout and everything else. And I remember almost falling in on that day. You were kind of hosting the show, and I was sitting on the gunnel and
Yeah.
almost fell backwards into Lake Michigan. That would have been a prize.
Yeah. I grew up a bass fisherman, so walleye or largemouth mainly, morphed into smallies, became a big smallmouth fisherman when I was, obviously with you and there in Buffalo. I think it's one of the greatest fishery areas for smallmouth
Oh yeah.
in the world. Um, and now, I'll be honest with you, I'm known as Mr. Walleye up in Minnesota on the lake that we've been going to for 55 years. This will be 56. I'm known as Mr. Walleye because I've caught a ton. I mean, this lake, and I'm not saying this to brag. This lake is known for walleyes, but more of the 15 to 24 inchers. But I'm a big game hunter, and I've caught a lot of 30s on this lake,
Wow.
which is a trophy. The biggest
Yes,
one is
there's a trophy anywhere.
Yeah, the biggest one is 34 and a half. And I have a I have a thing in my basement. It's called the Walleye Fame, and you have to have a 28 incher to get on the Walleye Fame, and the whole wall is full of 28 plus walleyes. And my daughters, everybody in my family has caught at least a 28. Most of them have caught in a 30 or bigger, and they call me Mr. Walleye up there. I'm a big back troller. Nobody back trolls up there at all. And so when people see me on the lake, they know where I am because I'm the only one back trolling. Yeah, I make a trip every year to the Detroit River. Yep. So they come out of Lake Erie, they feed up in the Detroit River into Lake St. Clair. And I don't know if my camera will work on this, but Jimmy, I got to show you this here. So if you can see this,
Oh, nice.
so those
Nice
three right
barbecue.
there, I mounted so I can see them every day.
Yeah.
And it's 11 and a quarter, 10 and a half to 11 and a quarter. I caught all of them in about 45 minutes one time, jigging. And we had the time of our lives. We caught so many 29s that week. We were there for 3-4 days. I bet we caught, I mean, it was 15 that were 29 or bigger.
Compare catching like a 32-inch walleye and catching a touchdown pass from uh, Jim Kelly or the other quarterback you played with. Was that, kind of comparison?
Yeah, catching. Oh man, I tell you, if I would say yes.
Sure.
However, in my athletic career, the most exhilarating moment, and you'll remember this, Jim, the most exhilarating moment that I felt like when it happened, I was like, "What in the world just happened?" Moment, like, oh my gosh, it was so emotional that I remember going to the bench area and I got teary eyed the first time I ever stepped on a football field in a Buffalo Bills uniform was at Houston in the Astrodome, which was the dome back then, and it was the third game of the 1989 season, my rookie year. I didn't get to play in the first two games because back then this was before the no huddle, the three wide receiver set of me, Lofton, and Reed, and it was Andre, Chris Burkett, and Flip Johnson, and I was number 4, so I never got into the games. Well, Jim Kelly goes to Marv Levy on Tuesday after the second game and said, "Why are we not playing Beebe? I want Beebe on the field. We drafted him. Let's put him on the field." So they cut Chris Burkett that day. That's the power of Jim Kelly, and I moved into the number 3rd slot. Well, here I am. I'm going into the Astrodome, nationally televised game, and the first pass that ever went my way, Jim, was a 63-yard bomb touchdown by Jim Kelly. And I'm telling you, it was such a God thing because I turned and looked, and he used to throw a really high ball. It looked like a punt, right? And I turned and looked, and I lost it in the dome lights for just a few seconds, like a second. And I stuck my hand out there, and it just stuck to my hand. It was so lucky. And I pulled it in, and I scored a touchdown. And I just remember that moment thinking, what in the world just happened to me? And that was probably the most exhilarating moment that I've ever felt in athletics.
And to compare that, you played in 6 Super Bowls.
So here's the thing. I was the first to be a part of 6 Super Bowl teams. Now I was hurt, obviously, Super Bowl 25. I broke my leg December 23rd, right before the playoff run against the Dolphins. So I was the first to be on 6 Super Bowl teams. Mike Lodish, the D lineman for the Buffalo Bills, was the first to actually play in 6 because he went to 4 with Buffalo and then 2 with Denver.
Oh, that's right.
And then came a guy by the name of Tom Brady, who changed everything.
Yeah, there's so many BB highlights. If you go on the internet, you can look at BB highlights. One you chasing down Leon Lett, the other one you bouncing on your head in Cleveland, and then that I honestly I don't remember it, but it happened because it's on video. Was you taking a punt and being chased down?
Landing on my head. Just yesterday, this is ironic you bring this up. Just yesterday, Jimbo text me, Kelly. He texts me and he texts me a video. And he said, "Sorry, Beebs, love you, brother." And what it was a video of me landing on my head. So basically he was saying, "Sorry, I laid you out." I text back, I said, "I would do it for you and the team in a heartbeat again, no doubt." Um, yeah. So bringing up the Deion Sanders. So it was the kickoff return against the Atlanta Falcons. That also was my rookie year. And Deion was the safety guy. And I took it right up the middle. And, I say this about Deion. Deion, how fast is Deion? People ask me this all the time. Deion's as fast as Deion wants to be. Okay, whatever time period or whatever he's in, he's as fast as he wants to be. I will say this, though, and most people don't know this. and this comes from Bill Polian, who any Bills fan know who Bill Polian is. It was 2003, so I retired in '98. I was training athletes. I'm back at the combine in Indianapolis, the big show, and I'm sitting in the box with Bill Polian and Tony Dungy. And Bill looks over at me, he goes, "Hey, Beebe," he goes, "you still hold the record." And I was like, "Record?" I said, "What record are you talking about?" He goes, "You still hold the record for the fastest 40 time ever recorded in combine history at a 4.25. You and Dion both ran a 4.25 that year in 1989 because we came out the same year."
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Now, the reason nobody knew this and what was printed, they said I ran a 4.39, was, keep in mind, in 1989, the media couldn't get in the dome. So nobody knew what guys ran. So what would happen is if any personnel guy would come out of the dome, media would be standing there waiting, and they would say, "Hey, who ran this, blah, blah, blah." And it was reported. Keep them, there's hundreds of watches that are on every guy that runs. But the official one had me at a 4.25, and that was Bill Polian. And so why do I say that? I say that because that's how God works.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you something. This is really funny. Okay, all right, Jimmy. So when I ran, and this is the honest truth, when I ran the 40-yard dash in 1989, February 1989, I ran my 40 in my high school shoes, their old shoes that had my fishing shoes.
Yeah.
And my right, I promise you, half of my sole on my right shoe was unglued. So
And you saved it. That's awesome.
Well, ironically, I had to do this as a replica because I threw them out. When I got drafted, I was like, I don't need these shoes anymore.
Yeah.
A huge regret of mine.
Yeah.
I wish I'd have saved it. But now that when I do a lot of public speaking, I show a resemblance of this or what it would have looked like. But that's how God works. I mean, here I am. I don't have an agent. I didn't know what to do. I'm running a 40-yard dash in a flopping fishing shoe from high school, and I run a 4.25. I mean, if that's not God written all over it, I don't know what is. And then you're the first pick of a team in the NFL draft. I mean, come on, people. I mean, that's why there's a movie coming out, because it's crazy.
So life has changed a lot for you. What are you doing now as a retired old Buffalo Bill and Green Bay Packer?
I'm doing a lot. So as I said, I've written 2 books in the past year. The movie's going out, so I'm heavily involved in that. I'm a part owner in a cattle company called All American Angus Beef. We do all of our auctions. We do live auctions on bidonbeef.com. I got into that because I had some health issues, and so we did it. My wife and I, especially my wife, did a deep dive into, okay, how do we get back to getting the inflammation out of our body? And so I'm a carnivore. I eat strictly meat. Okay, obviously fish is a big part of that, so we eat fish all the time. I'm a big steak eater. What the funny thing about it is when you really dive into this, we've been lied to by big pharma for so long. It's crazy, and it's sad. Really, it's sad, and it's all about money. We know that.
Sure.
So I become a carnivore meat eater. I've lost 25 pounds. My numbers are down. I feel as good as I felt in the last easy 20 years, almost probably 30 years. And it's incredible what a life-changing thing that has been for me. Praise God that he brought this to me. So I had to get into a meat company to do that. And I'm the head football coach at Aurora University. And I just finished my 7th year. And I use that as a platform to mentor young men. I don't coach football to win football games, even though we've been successful. That's not my priority. My priority is to use football just as a player, but now as a coach to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Before you go, you got to tell people, because I remember when back at, I think it was 99, we did that. And I said, let me see your ring. And
it would have been in August camp of 1996, which was the Super Bowl winning season. And I turned on a hitch route, and Favre used to throw so hard. How I got ready for catching balls from Brett Favre is I had a jugs machine, and I would literally stand 6 inches away from the ball that was in the machine, and I'd have it going about 65 miles an hour. Okay, now I had my head off to the side with the helmet on for safety purposes, but I would stand there and I would catch these balls shooting out of a jugs machine 6 inches away at 60. Please don't ever do this if you're listening, people, kids. Don't do this. Okay, it's very dangerous. But what it did is it created a web with my hands that created a lot of strength, but it softened. It broke down all my nerves because every hand has nerves in it. And if you ever hit yourself with a hammer or something like that, and then you can't touch that area for a while because it
Yeah,
hurts.
right.
That's what it would feel like catching balls from Favre in camp sometimes if it broke a blood vessel or whatever. Well, anyway, I turned and it was on me so fast that it blew my ring finger out on my right side, and it was in two different shapes, So I had to pull it back in. I was wearing gloves at the time. I had to pull it back in the socket, just put tape on it, and never realized that I actually broke it. And so now we're in the middle of October, okay, in the middle of a run, and my finger isn't better. 2 months later, I finally got it X-rayed, and they said, "Oh, you got to have surgery. You have to replace the tendon. And everything's broken." And I said, "Well, I can't have surgery now because I would be out. They put pins in it and everything like this."
Yeah.
So I waited till the end of the season, and then I had surgery, and I had to replace everything. So they cut me open here, and that's just, we call it Farvism. I mean, everybody that plays with Favre, this is what they call it, Farvism. Everybody has a messed up finger. But the one that you're talking about, it was at practice in the Don Hudson Center, and I'll never forget this either. Is I'm running a slant on the left side, and he threw it so hard. I tried to catch it, and it caught me right underneath my rib, my shoulder pads, and it hit me right in the ribs. And I thought he broke a rib because I got it like this. I caught it, but it hit my rib first, and I'm getting back to the huddle for the next play, and I can't breathe. And I'm bent over, and Favre goes, "You all right?" And I wasn't going to let him know. I mean, last thing you want to do is let him know that he got the best of you. No,
Yeah.
that's not going to happen. So Frankie Winters, the center, goes, "Bees, man, you all right?" And I said, and I lifted up my shirt like this. I said, "I can't breathe." And you could see all the lines in the little dots of the football in purple on my rib cage.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
So, but he didn't break my rib, thank goodness. But man, I'll tell you what, he put a nice little bruise on me. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's proud of that. He's a sick dude, man.
oh, I'll bet catching passes from our number 17 right now. If you don't catch him right, probably sting a little bit. That boy's got some strength that's unbelievable.
Yeah, those three quarterbacks, Josh and Jimmy and Brett, were a lot alike, and they're the kind of guys that should be playing the game. And what I mean by that is their mentality is a middle linebacker playing quarterback.
Yeah, yeah,
Their
exactly.
their mentality is like they're 10 years old playing in the backyard and they can
Yep.
care less what they're making. They just love the game.
Yeah.
Man, it's fun to watch Josh Allen play.
Oh, he's
Just like watching Jimmy and Brett.
Yep, yep, yeah. And Josh, came from Wyoming. He said he loves it. He loves playing here. Center of the community and just, really an upright guy. Everybody loves him here. He does a lot for everybody. So,
Yeah.
anyway. How many years did you play all total? 7?
I played 9.
9.
So I played 6 with Buffalo, 1 with Carolina, and 2 with
Oh,
the Green
yeah,
Bay Packers.
yeah.
And I would just end with this, Jim. People ask me, if you could go back in time, where would you go and what would you be doing? Now, I'm not one to look behind. I'm a tomorrow kind of guy and today kind of guy.
Yeah.
But if I was to go back, man, I'd go back to Buffalo in a heartbeat. I mean, what we had in Buffalo, as from players, with the fans, with the organization, has, golly, if it's ever been repeated in sports, it's rare, really rare. I mean, when you say you're a band of brothers, oh, we lived that. We lived it. I mean, we still get together at Jimmy's tournament. I love going back to it and just seeing the guys. I typically stay with Tasker at his place, and just seeing the guys is just they're my brothers, and they always will be.
Yeah.
That will never change. And the community is what makes it, and what makes them different. Just so you know, and I say this quite often, is when you go out in public in Buffalo, Western New York, or you meet Bill's Mafia all around the country.
Everywhere.
Yeah, it's not, when you meet them, it's not what you can do for them. They're not expecting you to do something for them. They want to do something for you.
Yeah.
And that's such an unselfish attitude. I mean, the people in Western New York are genuine. It's what America should be. And it is. I had the time of my life in Buffalo and in Green Bay. I mean, Green Bay was great too, but I will always remember those days and cherish those days in Buffalo.
Yep. Well, the fans love you, and I'm sure they're going to love this interview. Learn more about the Don Beebe that was more than just having 82 blue or green on him, and loving playing football. Brother, I love you. I really appreciate spending time with me.
Love you too, man. Thanks, Jimmy.
All right. Thanks, Don.